Okay, let's start. Today, I am going to talk about the event sourcing. So let's understand what are the concept of this event sourcing. So before jumping the event sourcing, let's understand what is the meaning of event. So event, or you can say as a literal meaning, event is anything that happens or takes place, especially one event that is important for us or for a system. Whenever you're designing systems, and in my systems, multiple things are happening or something change going on my system. So you can say all the changes, all the happening on my systems are considered as an event, but here we are only considering those events that are important for my system. So an event is a significant occurrence are happening in the system or applications or the process that can be record, analyze, store. So you can say simple. Event is a representation of change in the state of a system. Whatever we have a system, in this system, anything happen, yeah, any change happen. Those changes you can say consider as an event. The event is a very common terminology, and in many situations in a real life, we are talking about the event. So similarly, in our applications, whenever we are designing system, in the system, lots of activities happen. Those activities you can consider that change the state of my system application. Those change state you can say is an event. So in general terms, event is the something that is happened in my system, and that happening change the something, some state of my systems. Okay. So the reality is that in the real life, as the law of nature, you can say continuous in our body, on our earth, whole solar systems, event is happening. Continuous changes happening. You observe or not observe, as a human body is a systems, and in this system continuous changes going on. Sometime we aware, sometime we don't aware. So change is the law of nature. If our body is not changing, is it not possible we can grow? When we were in a childhood, our body continuous change, then we become younger, then become older, then become older. Because every cell of my body is continuous changing his form. Similarly, if you talk earth, if you talk water, if you talk everywhere, whatever the plant, animal, anything, continuous, the cell of everything. Cells are the element through which the particular item, maybe plant, maybe human body, maybe animal, maybe insect, maybe water, are made. Everything's are continuous changed. Similarly, whenever we are building system, our system have a build on the basis of couple of components, couple of flow, couple of API, couple of database, couple of, and in this system, if any user request or some automatic trigger happen, some time happen, and the particular process start, they are changing our system. So those significant change that's important for us for analysis, for future record, those event or state change considered as an event. So in simple terms, changes in your state is an event, and that change is important for us so that we can monitor them, we can do something. Hope it's clear. Event is nothing but something happened, something change happened your system. Though change is an event. Okay, so let's now talk about the event sourcing. So event sourcing is a design patterns you can say that involve the storing the history of an application's state as a sequence of events instead of storing the current state of an application. What the meaning? So here, whenever we have an applications, any event happen, just store this is the particular event happen. Another event happen, change the another event happen. Another event happen. Every event we have to store as a history of our application state change. So if a particular A time, our application state is the particular B time, something change happen, particular C time, something change happen, particular D time, something change happen. So here, event sourcing say, I am going to store each and every event happening in the historical manner. So at present, our state is this. But before, what was the state? Before, what was the state? Before, what was the state? Similar like our human body. Now, this is my current body state. But before 4 year, before 3 year, before 1 year, before 10 year, my body state was different. So event sourcing is say in our system, whatever happening, each and every happening that is important for us as an event, we are going to store permanently as a history of my application state. Right? So question is that why event sourcing? Because event sourcing, if we had, we can properly make our state current state event and event sourcing store the events that lead to the current state. Means whatever the current system have, they have come of the software subs. It's become after some changes happen, right? So all the changes in the system, we are going to record them. This help us to audit my system. This help us to find out something change happen in my system, when, who change, why change, what the reason, what the timings. So event sourcing is help us to analyze my complete system state changes at any point of time. The event sourcing is the mechanism where every event that is important for my applications, we are going to store historically. We are not just storing the current states. No. Whatever the previous state, what are the previous state, what are the previous, each and every states, if we have, those help us in the case of your application analysis, security analysis, state analysis, any bug finding, lots of use cases where the event sourcing play a role. So many applications. Let's talk about the in the banking system. Might be aware or not. In banking system, you are as a customer going to make a hey, my this is a transaction for withdrawal. This is a transaction for withdrawal. This is a transaction for credit. This is a transaction for credit. This is lots of transaction you are doing, and in every month you have a one accumulative. Hey, this is the my current balance in the my account is the 1,000 rupees. But you are doing daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, multiple transactions. So these transactions and number of entries, generally in the banking system, they are doing maintain the ledger. Means each and every transactions initiated by users are captured so that someone, hey, on this year, on this date, what is my current balance? If our banking system is not maintain proper history of your changes, it's very hard to report such data. Okay, so many places, all the majorly all the financials transactions are going to track as a event sourcing. The terminology here we talk event sourcing. The different domains have a different terminology. Banking domain say, hey, they maintain the ledgers. Every read, update, delete transactions on the particular accounts are tracked, are stored, are managed. Okay, so similarly, in the security domains, in the same domain, security information management system, we are maintaining all the changes, all the events, all the, sometime you can say event, sometime you can say signal, sometime you can say changes, my state. Hope it's clear. Event stored sourcing, that means they are going to store your all the events happen in the system as a historical manner. Simple. That's data as a historical data we have of my system state that help us lots in the future analysis. So let's talk basics about the event sourcing. As you discuss in the event sourcing, basic concepts is the events. Event are the core concepts. As we discuss, events are the significant changes in the application state. And maybe multiple examples such as creating user, updating user, change their status, it's everything. Everything considered as a landscape. One event. I am requesting for application, my get profile, update profile, delete profile, change my phone number, change my email number. Everything you are doing in a system. From the system perspective, it is an event. Second key points about the if we identified, hey, these are my events, create account, account, update my email, update my address, update my pin code, update my phone number, update something. All are the events. And what the event stores. So let's today the my contact number ABCD. Later I change my contact number this. Later I change my contact number this. So there are three different contact number. But at present, what are the latest my contact number? This is my contact number. So we as an event store consider as a database where event store is a database or repository that store all the event in the sequential manner. So event store is the database. They are storing every event happen in my system as a sequential manner. At this time, this event. At this time, this event. At this time, according to the timestamps, every events are captured. An event store is the single source of truth of your application states. Anyone want to know about your applications? What are the happen, when happen, who happen, why happen? Everything we can analyze from the event source, event store. That means historical data. Third key point in the event sourcing is the aggregate. The aggregate is the domain concept that represent the collections of related object or data. In event sourcing, aggregate are used to group the related data. Up now in the systems, now in system, couple of modules, couple of different module, okay, and each module have a different kind of a event happening. So aggregation say this is the my payment related. So there is one aggregator that's group payment related all the transactions. one is the invoice related, one is the inventory related, one is the product related. So all in my systems, multiple kind of event happening. So we have this designs aggregator for specific use cases, specific component, and they are grouped those events that are related to the specific, and after that those group information, aggregated information, we can summarize, we can group them, lots of for analysis. Hey, lots 1 month, how many number of times the particular events or the particular customer have changed his the profiles or change the email address, right? So these are analytics or analysis that's help us by the aggregate. So one sometime we have also have a event stream. That means sometime our application continuous receiving the event change, like all the IoT devices are the application that generate logs, or maybe system logs, operating system log, kernel log, event logs, IoT devices, sensor data, everything. They are continuous sending some data in my system, and my system states are going to the change, So generally all the events just continuous basis, like sensor data, weather data, climate data, right? These are the IoT devices data, temperature data, all are the stream of event, you can say. Those events are continuous generated by some devices, some machines, continuous basis. So those known as a event stream. The event stream is the sequence of events. Many applications nowadays are going to managing event stream. That's here aggregator are play a very significant role. Excuse me. So these are some basic concepts about the event sourcing. And as I mentioned, in event sourcing, the main components are your event store. Event store I discussed, whatever the event is generated or received my application as a state change, we have to store in my database or repository. That must event store in the sequential manner at which times the particular event happened. We are not responsible. Event store is not responsible just storing the event. They are managed at which times the particular event happened and by which user. So we can say everything's particular event have an event ID, event type, event actual event details, event timestamps. So these are the basic structures of every event. Your event generate one event ID, event types, event details, and event timestamps. So these are the complete structures. And why we are capturing all this? Because this allow for the efficient retrievals and analysis of the event. So let's if we have a proper timestamp, hey, last 6 months I want to check the particular data. So we have this. By default, whenever one event generate, our system can capture the time when the particular application state change happened. Okay, so event store is, you can say, one of the critical component of event sourcing, and a software development patterns involve storing the historical of the application state as a sequence of events. Right. So this is very important for the any security domain applications nowadays. They are going to analyze data if the particular security breach happen. So all the applications which we are building in the security domains, event sourcing are different names of technology, but we have to capture each and every state change or request command in a system from the different users. And these are the basics characteristics of an AV event. So whatever the event, they maintain the sequence. Means event are stored sequentially manner, and similarly, all the events stored as immutable. If particular event happen at a particular times, this is the event ID, event data types, event content details, and timestamps. no information on the event can be changed. Now, this is the one of the conditions of any event sourcing database. They are stored data in a immutable fashion. Only they are storing ID data. Adding means this is the only append-only database. Here we have one database. This is my database. Just add one, add one, add one, add one, add. Always we can add new data, new data, new data. We never going to provide any kind of update facility or delete facility. No, this is the basic characteristics of event stored databases. Generally, whatever database we have launched, like MySQL, Postgres, everything, they allow the get data, read data, update data, delete data, CRUD operation. But event source database are very specifically designed. They are only support to add more event, append only. We have not any option to go update or delete. Due to that, hey, this storage is immutable storage. This is immutable for always. We are not going to update any times. So these are the basic characteristics of event store database. And if you talk some examples, which event store database we can use, lots of event store database nowadays we have, but many places we can use Apache Kafka or AWS DynamoDB or Google Cloud by Bigtables are Azure Cosmos DB or Oracle Event Store, IBM Event Store. Multiple vendors nowadays providing event source database, event source DB. Any big applications or any application that are related to the financial transactions, related to the security informations, they are required to event store database. This data is nowadays notice become very large after some times. So we have to plan these data are stored in such a manner so that can be managed the large volume of data. Due to that, the cloud providers have lots of significant way they are allowing the database store in the NoSQL fashion, lots of data, because any IoT devices or any particular networks or particular router gateway, particular calls is coming on. I want to track every calls on the particular networks which route going on. So everything's continuous data generated by the system. So in those scenarios, we have also things we are going to store those data in the non-SQL database fashion so that we can store larger data volumes. And these cloud providers are sufficient technology available that help us to manage 1 year data, 2 year data, 5 year data, 10 year data. Accordingly, we have to choose the cloud provided event source database. And these are the basic, you can say, architectures of my our event sourcing. For example, let's hey, this is the one example for the user here, but here assume the event can be generated by the user, are generated by the some IoT devices, are generated by the some you can say the router, automatic gateway, maybe some internet gateway, maybe any third-party application, any microservice, anything. That means events are generated by not just human user. Human user the one, but events can be generated by another system, another application, another microservice, another mainframe applications as well as older applications. So you can say just event received maybe from the UI or directly from the API call, gRPC call, batch call, FTP call, anywhere. So finally, objective is that we have a kind of a event sourcing where whatever the event source created, just store item one created, item two created, item one deleted, whatever one updated, whatever the action performed by users are the clients. Client can be anything. So those activity are we are going to store in the event store. This is the event store database. So if all the informations are going to store in the event source, so this is known as event sourcing. That means you whatever the events are generated by the client may be user, client may be application, third party application, any IoT devices, all the events are generated, we are going to store in our my event source database. And this event source database is later used by the analytics person to read data, analyze data, aggregate data, and that is this event source just read by the event bus. And event bus we can just use the different database where read, write operation you perform, and later if some problem happen, let's keep complete this database destroy or something, we have option complete replay and again make our system at the original place from where it is. So lots of, if we are properly maintain our all the event in the immutable as a timestamps, as a sequential timestamps, this help us to meet lots of other requirement basically for analytics, analysis, ML, everything, machine learning. These data are required where the analysis, analytical things is happening. And generally, all the security domain applications are required to store all the events happen on a particular event, particular system, particular applications. So event sourcing means all the events happen by the client. We are going to store sequentially with the time steps in event store database. And lots of example you can see. Hey, maybe good example like a sequential database. Say first at this time, this particular two trousers are added. At this time, one jumper added. At this time, one are removed. One are more added. One are the, so in this way, all the this is are the event stores. These are the events are stored in the event. But maybe you can go to the actual state of the system is that maybe actual database have only one count. Might be we can lose our historical data. So all the events happening with the database are a state level, application level. Our objective event sourcing say all the event somehow you have to store with the sequentially with the time steps in event store. And later part, whatever you want to make a system, replay the system. Just start from event one and you can find out when at this time our system what was the state, at this time our system what was the state. Even the later part we can perform lots of testing and replay our system. So you can say lots of uh, activities you can do, but let's understand the basics how the event sourcing works. So generally, here command means when the command is received, means a particular event is generated by the our client. Client maybe user, client maybe customer, client maybe third party application, any IoT device, any router, any kind of from where. So that's commands. So our command handling are responsible. That's the take necessary action. Means ki they are we one handler command handling is responsible to receive those events and just create one event. So here the new event is created and stored in the database. So whatever the events are received from the clients, we have a one command handler, yeah, event handler. That responsibility receive the event and create one event. That means one event ID, event types, event details, and event timestamps. These information make one JSON object or any the format which you want, make one event. And once event created, those events again going to store in the event store database. That is just append. We always going to add data in the event store database. Once done, then if there is a our specific aggregation, then we apply our application aggregation, and after application aggregations they are calculate data and the whatever the attribute you have decided on the basis of time, on the basis of particular data types, on the basis of particular source IP, destination IP, on the basis of some particular geographical location, on the whatever the aggregator you have decided, accordingly we have to aggregate data. So when the application need to retrieve current state of and then we replay the aggregate. And later part projection means what the view you want to give. The aggregator give us a proper generated view, which the different viewpoint you can say. Hey, one customer, one admin, one analyst, one system engineer, one manager, different stakeholder for those data. So our projections, whatever the aggregated data are aggregated by our systems, we are different, create different viewpoint for those data, aggregated data by the projections. Projection is a different way to present or represent data as a aggregated data, not just detailed event. So these are the sequence, our event handler, handle the event, create event, store in the database, and after that, any aggregate applied, go to the aggregator, and any projection applied, go for the projections. So these are the some, if we are maintain in our application event sourcing, these are the some benefits we can get. So generally nowadays, if you are building any enterprise applications, the one of the basic requirement many times customer asks, but as our responsibility as a system design engineer that we have to maintain audit trail. So audit trails, the event sourcing provide the complete audit trail of all changes made in the application state. In our application, whatever change happened, who did, what time did, everything you can track from the event sourcing. So audit trail feature by default you can maintain for your application. You want to application versioning, audit so event sourcing also allow easily versioning your data. Each event represent a specific point of times. Is this time what the data? This time what the data? And this is also event sourcing data help us to debug my system. Event sourcing make it easier to debug the issue. Any event stream provided with a clear history of all, because whatever happened at particular times I want to find out the issue, root cause, why happened, which kind of data disturb my system. And even event sourcing improve the scalability. Event sourcing can store and designs the handle high volume of event. With the way events are very high in the enterprise application or big application, so we have to properly maintain scalability. Any issue happen, we have a proper all the events stored in historical manner, and that will help us to debug the system. So these are the some technology which help us to achieve this event sourcing in my application. Many places I found personally we are using Apache Kafka used to for the distributed streaming platform that can be used as a event store. Okay, our event store as a dedicated event store database which we discussed, we can use to store all the events. And similarly, if you talk some exam frameworks is a Java framework that provide the comprehensive event sourcing solution. Even if you're on a .NET application and service bus, .NET framework that provide the complete event sourcing solution. Lots of technology nowadays available for the developer that if you want to implement event sourcing in your application, you can easily implement them. And lots of document contents available. You can just and go Google and read out all the event sourcing, even the event sourcing in the microservice architecture or distributed system, as well as different places you can use the event sourcing. So we'll talk more about the event sourcing, but you just understand, hey, these are the very kind of key requirement of your applications to manage, to handle, store all and every change of your state. So event sourcing help us to store every event happen in your systems. Maybe whatever the times you can track them. So event sourcing help us to debug your application, audit your application, analyze your application, do the security analysis. Lots of analytics are easily possible if we that means our systems are just store every event in the event store database. This storage, storing every event as an event in the event source database, this is a process known as a event sourcing. Event sourcing is just a mechanism through which we can maintain, we can store all the historical state of my application in the event store database. Hope this information helped you. Thank you.